So, marooned in the culture is a apt description of someone who has an experience that is not allowed to be spoken of. We think that euphemism, taboo things not to be spoken of, that kind of consciousness ended with the Victorian age. Yet there are now other sets, what I call the other sets of forbiddances, taboos. So the thing that is not supposed to happen to boys happened to me, and I had to live with this for a very long time, and even for a very long time afterwards. This is like almost well, at this point it's about 55 years of I'm a very intelligent, articulate person, but I'm not allowed to speak of it. It's a very strange experience. You go there just a little bit. No, don't, let's not have that. Other forbidden things, wider things in our culture. Matriarchy, for instance. To speak of the matriarchy, to counterbalance the very frequent speech of the patriarchy. And of course, at this age, silver grey hair of, a gentleman of age, as soon as you say patriarchy, I cannot help but have the very look of it. It's inescapable. So, I take every utterance of it very personally. And but the matriarchy is not to be spoken of. So we're getting half the story, and the rest is forbidden. And underneath this forbiddenness is the stories of suppressed, oppressed, repressed stories of what's happening to men and for men and with men and boys and children and heterosexuals, especially male heterosexuals, and so on and so forth. So in effect I've been functionally, not strictly true, but technically, functionally, in terms of public demeanour, functioning celibate. A reluctant, inadvertent celibate for 27 years. I have not kissed the lips. And I love kissing. It's beautiful, it's soft. A woman for that long. There was a half kiss I had some time back, and I had to tell my mother not to kiss me on the lips. It was too sexual, as I had to explain exactly that way to my mother. Sort of dwelling on the word sexual like that. And but I could understand, because she grew up with her mother and her sick sister, which kind of held her back. She had duties to look after her sick sister, And her father, my grandfather, was away from Kent, away from the British Army. He had had no work, no job, 19 jobs he had been in for short times, and hadn't settled until he found the British Army, or they found him. And he was away in India, the British Army in India, and he came back to Dunkirk. He was sent over with the British Expeditionary Force, and I was very thankful to the German soldier who did not throw in the hand grenade and called out, Achtung, hands hoch, hands up, watch out, I'll throw this in, danger, come out with your hands up. And no doubt, because he was in the rear guard, he was mopped up. So he was in the prisoner of war camp the entire war. And when he finished up from his Stalag Luft, not Luft, that's Air Force, Air Flying Officers, Stalag, from his prisoner of war camp, by the time he arrived back in England, he was 6 stone, and my mother has a photograph of him inside a suit, and the suit's about twice the size that he is. And I sometimes think, well, what weight was he in the camp when it was overrun and he was, released? And they probably processed him and tried to find out how he was. And they had to billet him somewhere and put him up and feed him up and check his